Now at 9, some Southeast Kansas residents want to know why a wind farm quit working.
The administration is cracking down on ghost guns and those who sell the parts. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. The latest on the president's action coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Albee. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says a woman died after crashing her car into a tree. It happened Friday on Route O, 2 miles north of Elba. Authorities say 34-year-old Samaya El Sharif of Webb City was driving south when her car ran across the road, struck a tree. She was pronounced dead at a local hospital. Authorities in Delaware County, Oklahoma say a motorcyclist died yesterday after crashing. It happened on US 412 Alternative near the town of Leach. Authorities say 52-year-old James Morrison of Broken Arrow was riding west when he lost control on a curve, came off the motorcycle, hit a speed limit sign. Morrison was pronounced dead at the scene. Meteorologist Doug Cady joining us now. Some pretty strong storms last night, Doug.
Yeah, we had some really good storms that rolled through, and they lasted for several hours. Some very heavy amounts of rain across the region. We had scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning hours, and then a little bit of sunshine late in the day. 64 is where we topped. We started at 51 during the morning hours, but all showers and thunderstorms pretty much out of here. Our southern counties still may get a few little guys that try to pop up late tonight after midnight, but look at all the rainfall. A lot of areas, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. We do have more rain chances and thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks. Lightning strike is blamed for a house fire at a home on Highway 96 east of Carthage early today. Complicating things for firefighters, of course, those high winds fueling the fire. Firefighters got it under control in just over an hour, and thankfully there were no reports of injuries. Rain has caused police in Webb City, Missouri to close off part of West 7th Street because of a bridge washout. Officials say the bridge is between Chesterfield Street and Lakeview Street. That street is going to be closed until further notice. Liberty Utilities' Neosho Ridge Wind Farm in Neosho County, Kansas is no longer working. One county commissioner says he wants to know why. KOM's Chris Warner has more.
Despite all the wind we've had recently, the turbines in Neosho County haven't been turning. District 1 Commissioner Paul Westhoff says it's been more than 2 weeks since they were last operating.
What I was told is that their main transformer blew up, shorted out, whatever, and then their backup one did, and that's why they're down. So now they're waiting on another transformer.
Westhoff says he has concerns about those who signed contracts to allow the turbines to be built on their property.
If they're not spinning, the leasers are not getting paid because they get paid so much per megawatt, I believe, and if they're not spinning, and my concern, Chris, is the county going to get their $1 million in May?
Westhoff voted no on allowing the wind farm to be built in Neosho County. He cited safety concerns with the turbines and concerns that residents had. Westhoff says now, with the transformer failure, it's brought those concerns up once again.
Absolutely. I mean, you look up there at Allen County, they've had a lot of problems up there.
We did reach out to Liberty Utilities, who told us they're currently investigating the cause of the transformer failure and that there's a possibility the transformers may need to be sent back to the factory for assessment and repair. As for how long they'll be down, Liberty says that depends on what caused the failure in the first place. Liberty added that despite the wind farm being down, it won't have an impact on customers because Liberty is part of the Southwest Power Pool, so they can pull in extra power as needed. Another concern Westhoff noted was the fact that while the turbines are out, the FAA lights on their tops are also out. And Liberty tells us they have notified the FAA and that a notice is on file with the FAA to alert aircraft that the lights aren't working in that area. In Neosho County, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Liberty officials tell us they're asking residents to treat the wind turbines as if they're still active and stay at least 100 meters away from them for safety. Joplin City Council tonight held a special meeting to recognize some new members, say farewell to some old ones. 4 new council members were sworn in today after winning their seats in last week's election. Keenan Cortez was reelected as mayor pro tem. Gary Shaw reelected to council. Doug Lawson was sworn in as Joplin's new mayor and says he has plans to help the JPD.
Compensation for our police. It's something that the citizens of Joplin expect. It's something that the police deserve, and we're competing with the whole world basically to find police officers of the quality that Joplin has come to expect. We're going to have to pay them, so that's the big issue.
One Joplin City Council candidate who lost last week is demanding a recount. The unofficial results on election night show Brian Evans trailed his closest opponent by only 13 votes. Today, Evans right there held a press conference about the recount and about concerns that some residents may have gotten the ballots wrong.
During the past week, I've had a number of residents come forward with concerns about vote counting, such as they received wrong ballots and were not allowed to vote for myself or anyone on the council for that matter. Others who were not able to scan their ballots in, and I can tell you I've received more than 200 requests pleading for me to do a recount.
Evans says he's going to be paying for the recount with funds from his campaign. Well, President Biden targeting so-called ghost guns. They are the homemade, hard-to-trace firearms being used more frequently in crimes. The president enacting an executive order today to help get those untraceable weapons off the streets and crack down on those who sell and manufacture ghost guns. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard is in Washington with more.
Now, finally, we have a president who realizes that thoughts and prayers alone are not enough.
Through executive action, President Biden, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, and Justice Department tightening restrictions on ghost guns, privately made firearms that are hard to trace.
And we call them ghost guns because they can't be traced. But make no mistake, they are real. They can shoot to kill, and they do.
Ghost guns are assembled with parts or kits, many without serial numbers, and often there is no background check.
This is the gun.
Law enforcement say ghost guns are turning up at more crime scenes and in gangs.
If you commit a crime with a ghost gun, expect federal prosecution. Not just state, expect federal prosecution.
The rule changes the legal definition of firearm to include ghost guns, kits, and gun parts, meaning those who sell and manufacture them will be required to do more background checks and must add serial numbers.
I think the allure with ghost guns is you don't have that government oversight.
Gun rights group, the Gun Owners of America, say they are already working on a lawsuit against the administration and are lobbying members of Congress.
So this stuff doesn't really stop the violent crime. It's really record-keeping requirements, but it allows them to say, see, we're against gun trafficking.
The president also announced his nominee to lead the ATF, Steve Dettelbach. He will need to be confirmed by the Senate. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Ivan Davis served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 1945. And we are proud to thank and salute Sergeant Ivan Davis, a native of Coyville, Kansas. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Keddy's next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, a pitcher's duel in Pittsburgh with Baxter Springs Lions hitting the field against Colgate. Highlights in sports.
Well, we had the showers, we had the thunderstorms for us last night. A lot of areas picked up quite a bit of hail. It wasn't super big hail, but a lot of it, and a lot of gusty winds and thunder and lightning, heavy amounts of rain. We had a couple inches of rain prior to midnight, and then a couple inches of rain after midnight, so just shy of 2 inches for the day. For the month, just shy of 4. For the year, over 10 inches, so we're actually above normal now by about 1.5 inches of rain. Temps, still not bad. Upper 40s to near, or upper 50s to near 60 degrees. And of course, we're going to drop back as we go through the overnight hours, only down to about 50 or so. Looks okay. 7th range line sitting at 59. Winds are pretty much calm. The humidity is up there at 81%. And all those showers and thunderstorms we had earlier today, these are all gone. In fact, most of us, we look pretty good. We have partly to mostly clear skies. All the big time severe weather has been down to our south central Arkansas, stretching all the way back into eastern parts of Oklahoma. Numerous tornado warnings. This will stay to our south, but we may get a few isolated thunderstorms in our very far southern counties later on tonight. After midnight, nothing too strong, nothing severe. And then here's our next wave, which is going to roll out and start to affect us by the daytime hours for us tomorrow. So we do have a severe threat. we got to watch the afternoon. We have what is called a capped atmosphere. So if that cap would break, we'll get some really big storms that get going. Most likely that's not going to happen. So I think most of the day is going to be dry, but we could get some thunderstorms in here very late tomorrow night. I'm going to keep all the threats on the low side: tornado, hail, wind, and rain, all on the low side. Now by Wednesday, the shift a little bit farther toward the east. So in the morning, we'll have a low severe threat, but all the big threat will stay out across south central parts of Missouri and eastern Missouri. So again, I'll keep all the threats on the low side as we go into tomorrow night and Wednesday. Still something we want to watch, of course. All right, let's go through the overnight hours tonight. There may be a random thunderstorm in our southern counties. Besides that, a lot of mid, upper level clouds kind of streaming through as we go through the morning. Some sunshine in the afternoon, but a big warm up. It's going to be windy as well. 74 by noon. High temp right around 81, south winds at about 15 to 25. As we go into the evening hours, thunderstorms will try to get going in our far western counties. I don't think they will. There may be one spotty, one or two, but I think the evening is going to be dry. I think most of tomorrow night's going to be dry. You can see thunderstorms form out across central Kansas, but they weaken as they push in. So just scattered thunderstorms by Wednesday morning. Now, once we get into the day, then our instability will go up again, so thunderstorms will erupt, mainly in southwestern Missouri on Wednesday. So we do have a severe threat the next 2 days, but at this point in time, something I'm going to watch. It does not overly concern me by any means. So that's good news. 81 tomorrow, 62 on Wednesday, 60 on Thursday. More thunderstorm chances late Friday.
I think you were saying there's factors that have to pull through in order for those.
Everything's got to come together, and it doesn't look like it will.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Doug Heddy, thank you. Funeral procession this afternoon accompanied the body of a Joplin police officer who died of a heart attack last week. Officer Michael Gaiman served with the Joplin Police Department. A public funeral service in Oronogo, Missouri this afternoon was followed by a private burial right there. Coming up, trying to get more countries to restrict Russia.
President Biden meets with another world leader about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I'll have details coming up.
Single-family dream homes are hitting nightmare building prices because of rising construction costs. Builders across the country struggling to keep new homes affordable during supply chain and inflation problems. The U.S. Census Bureau says home construction costs are up 17.5% from 2020 to 2021, the largest one-year jump since 1970. The Dallas Builders Association says for every $1,000 increase, 20,000 Texas families leave the market. The association wants lumber tariffs removed to try and ease costs. Russia's war against Ukraine is having a devastating consequence on both countries' economies. The World Bank says Ukraine's GDP is going to contract by 45% this year and Russia's by 11%. The Washington-based group says the fallout will also hit emerging market and developing countries in Europe and the Central Asia region. Biden administration is continuing to monitor the ongoing developments overseas between Russia and Ukraine. The president met virtually with Prime Minister of India today in the hopes of getting the world leader to take a harder line against Russia's aggression. Meanwhile, Ukraine continues to fend off attacks from the Russian military. Fox News Chief Washington correspondent Mike Emanuel has the latest details.
I'm pleased to have this opportunity to speak to you today virtually.
President Biden holding a virtual discussion Monday at the White House with India's Prime Minister, primarily focused on the war in Ukraine.
The United States and India are going to continue our close consultation on how to manage the destabilizing effects of this Russian war.
The neutral stance taken by India in response to the invasion has alarmed top Biden administration officials. India recently abstained from a vote to remove Russia from the UN Human Rights Council. It's also one of the world's biggest economies and is still buying Russian energy supplies.
The president also made clear that he does not believe it's in India's interest to accelerate or increase imports of Russian energy.
For weeks, Russian military attacks have left parts of Ukraine unrecognizable. President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning Russia is preparing for a major assault on the eastern part of the country. Zelensky says this week of fighting could be crucial and is making more pleas for military equipment from Western countries.
This is a very important time in this campaign what we do in the next 2-3 weeks could really make a long-term difference.
The Pentagon revealed Monday that the U.S. is working with allies to help get more long-range air defense systems into Ukraine. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Still ahead, the logic behind later school start times and the new research that supports it. A new study says American mortality is falling, and the U.S. doesn't rate well with other countries. Researchers with the University of Colorado and Virginia Commonwealth University say U.S. data shows U.S. lifespans continue to fall from about 78.9 years in 2019 to 77 years in 2020 and 76.6 years in 2021. And major factors were the coronavirus pandemic, of course, obesity, heart disease, and healthcare access. Long lives among white, black, and Hispanic populations fell. The U.S. also fared worse than 19 other wealthy countries. A baby formula shortage in many parts of the U.S. is forcing retailers to ration. Walgreens is limiting shoppers to 3 infant and toddler formula products per transaction. A recent review of supplies at 11,000 stores indicates that nearly 30% of popular baby food formulas, baby formula brands may be sold out. Part of the problem stems from an Abbott nutrition recall in mid-February for select lots of Similac and other formulas made in Sturgis, Michigan. Manufacturers are ramping up production to make up the difference, but admit it may take weeks for them to catch up. It ain't easy getting teenagers up and out of the door in the morning for school. I used to be a teenager, I know. That's why many experts have been advocating for years for later school start times. Now research suggests starting the day later can have big benefits for the whole family, including mama and daddy. Bradley Blackburn has more.
High school teacher Kelly Osuna and her 2 teen sons have busy mornings getting ready for the day, but they say it's been much less stressful since their school began starting classes later.
Prior to the time change, I had to get them into before care and then have enough time to get back to my job by 7. So we were leaving the house at the very latest by 6:15.
Health experts say early school start times can impact teens' learning and increase risks for obesity and depression. Now, research from National Jewish Health looks at how moving start times later can be good for the whole family. Researchers partnered with a large district near Denver, adjusting middle and high school start times 50 to 70 minutes later.
What we found was that these parents were reporting later wake times similar to their students and an increase in the amount of sleep that they were obtaining.
Dr. Lisa Meltzer authored the study, which also found fewer parents reported feeling tired during the day.
Researchers say many middle and high schools begin too early. Only about 20% of U.S. high schools start at or after 8:30 a.m. That's the time recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Sleep is important for every aspect of functioning.
Osuna is grateful to be getting more sleep. She now gets up at the time she used to leave the house.
I noticed such a huge difference just in my mood and my affect when I do get in front of students in the morning, or even the time that I'm with my children in the morning.
And as an educator and mom, she says it's a great way to start the day. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
As part of the study, elementary schools started an hour earlier to accommodate the time changes for the middle and high schools. And researchers found parents of the elementary students maintained their sleep habits, moving bedtimes and wake-up times slightly earlier. All right, next, story of a bull who picked a fight with a mailbox. What started this main event? Who won? Hint, hint. Look at what a New Jersey police officer encountered. A bull assaulting a mailbox. So right now he's kissing it, but there we go. He's gonna, there. The bull had apparently pushed its way out of its pen, seemed to have a little pent-up aggression. Eventually, no surprise here, the bull wins, right? He's like, well, this was no match. I'm moving on. Now, even though damaging a mailbox is considered a felony offense, this dude isn't going back to the pen. He's been relocated to his sanctuary. That police officer was probably like, you know, you take your beef out on that mailbox. Just don't come after me. 30 more minutes news, that's all I got. It's the best I got, I'm sorry. 30 more minutes news, weather, and sports coming away. A reminder, during National Donate Life Month, of how organ donations save lives.
Airfare prices are already at near 10-year highs, and those prices are expected to go up even more. I'm Madison Allworth at Newark Airport. Coming up, I'll explain why and how much you should be expecting to pay for your trip this summer.
This is Donate for Life Month to raise awareness of organ donations and transplants. KOAM's Jalen Banks met with the family of a transplant recipient in Joplin to learn about what this whole process is like and what it means.
April marks the annual start of National Donate Life Month, which honors those that have donated organs to save lives and acknowledges those that are still waiting for a transplant. Rowan Reeves, a four-state resident, was fortunate enough to receive a special gift, a new heart. Rowan's mother says waiting during the process was tough.
Very fearful, and I think that my emotions went kind of everywhere. It just kind of depended on the day. So sometimes we would be very hopeful, we would be having a great day, and then other days we wouldn't be. And of course, we were very anxious.
The feeling of concern was warranted. According to Freeman Health Systems, there are currently more than 100,000 people waiting for life-saving transplants. And unfortunately, 20 people pass every day while waiting for an organ. Kathy Lucci of the Midwest Transplant Network says a simple question could help with the donor situation.
If you had the opportunity to save a life, would you want to do so? Most people definitely do want to do that. And actually over 90% of the United States, people in the United States, want to be an organ donor.
I asked Rowan's parents what they believe he will accomplish and how things are going post-transplant.
So he will do something with music, absolutely. As far as his second chance at life, I mean, he has been given a huge opportunity, and he is thriving so wonderfully.
Celebrating those that have received and remembering those that have donated. In Joplin, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
Freeman Health System and Mercy Hospital Joplin, along with Midwest Transplant Network, was going to have a celebration of life tomorrow, honoring donors. A unique event in Pittsburgh meant for fun, also recruiting. The Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Pittsburgh invited people to come out to the Main Street Axe Company. Some free food, axe throwing, of course, also information on how to become a big brother or big sister.
You know, we put a lot of focus in our community in the growth, which is awesome. We have so much going on. I always just tell people to remember that the kids that we serve are the future of our community. They're going to grow up and be our neighbors and our teachers or doctors, coaches. So investing in them is really important.
All right, now just in case you're wondering, the Main Street Axe Company is located at 216 South Broadway Street in Pittsburgh. Chilling in front of the TV might make you more stressed. New research finds viewers are overwhelmed with all the streaming choices out there. Nielsen researchers in particular found that 46% of subscribers are stressed out by all of the titles they have available to watch. The average costs for a round-trip airline ticket is now $330. Fox Business Network's Madison Allworth is at Newark Airport in New Jersey with what travelers are saying about these high ticket prices.
Airline ticket prices are sky high, and they are only getting higher. With spring break travel and a jump in the cost of jet fuel, we're looking at ticket prices that are 40% more expensive than January. Jet fuel is doing a lot to increase the cost of travel. It's currently up 40% from the beginning of the year, and estimates show that it will be up 76% this summer. Right now, domestic airfare will cost you an average of $330 per trip. Hopper was not expecting us to hit that number until June. Now they're saying expect a 10% increase to $360 this summer. Americans are already paying way more than they're used to.
My ticket was outrageously expensive, and I came here just because I wanted to enjoy the city, get out of the house. COVID's over.
Cheapest was $350 one way from Newark to Orlando, and that was the 6-hour layover in Houston. So, and that was the cheapest. Otherwise, we were at $600 or $700.
We are already seeing a near 10-year high when it comes to ticket prices, but it is not slowing travelers down. In fact, travelers are outpacing supply in some instances. Airlines like JetBlue have announced that they're going to reduce the number of trips they make this summer because they can't keep up with the staffing with all of these flights. This comes after they canceled over 300 flights this past weekend. At Newark Airport, I'm Madison Allworth, Fox Business.
A bit later, going to learn about the factors behind rising egg prices.
Upgrade your ride this year with
Well, of course, we had the showers, the thunderstorms last night into the morning hours and then started to dry out a bit as we worked into the afternoon. But quite a bit of rain, almost 2 inches of rain since midnight. We had 2 to 3 inches of rain prior to midnight. For the month, we're sitting at, just shy of 4 inches for the year. A lot of regions over 10 inches. So we're doing okay so far on rainfall. Temperatures right now, we're sitting mainly upper 50s to lower 60s. We'll drop back near 50 a little bit later on tonight. 7th range line currently outside. We are sitting at 59. Winds are pretty much calm. Humidity is kind of high. It's at 81%. And any showers, any thunderstorms we had earlier today, these have rolled off toward the south into the east. Most of us have cleared out quite a bit. Now our southern counties may get a few isolated thunderstorms a little bit later on tonight. Nothing strong or severe, but right now we're fine. We look dry. All the severe weather down to our southeastern parts of Oklahoma, through Arkansas, and then all the way over into eastern parts of Arkansas. And this is where it's going to stay as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Next wave is building in. This will give us additional chances for showers and thunderstorms by the time we head into tomorrow night and also on Wednesday. Severe threat tomorrow. It is an elevated risk on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Not really concerned about this. I think most of us won't see anything until late tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. Slight chance an isolated thunderstorm could pop up tomorrow evening. I'm going to keep all the threats low. Just something we'll keep our eyes on and see what it looks like tomorrow. On Wednesday, threat pushes east. So we'll have a low severe threat early morning, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And then again, all this is going to push off toward the east. I'll keep all the threats low. And it looks like the bigger threat for severe weather is going to be central Missouri, eastern parts of Missouri. All right, tonight clouds will slowly start to build back in. By morning, these are going to be mid and upper level clouds, but we're going to warm up quite a bit. There could even be a random shower during the morning hours, and then we're going to go into lower 80s for a high. So it's going to be warm. It's going to be windy. 60 to start, 74 by noon. High temp of 81. That slight chance for an isolated thunderstorm. South winds at 15 to 25. Tomorrow night, we're going to watch the thunderstorms building out to our north and to our west. Good news here is as they work in after midnight, they weaken. We'll start to get some additional scattered thunderstorms trying to get going. This is 6, 7 o'clock on Wednesday morning, and then they kind of flare up by mid to late morning in southwestern parts of Missouri. But again, our severe threat is pretty low. This will rotate east, so most of the severe weather will be across central and eastern parts of Missouri. So I'm not overly concerned. Something I'll watch, but not overly concerned. 81 tomorrow, 62 on Wednesday, 60 on Thursday, back to 70 on Friday. Additional chances for thunderstorms.
And certainly we're thinking about the people down in Arkansas.
Yeah, there's been several tornadoes down there tonight.
Goodness. All right. Doug Heddy, thank you so much. All right, coming up in sports, the Colgan Panthers picking up their first W of the season in extra innings over Baxter Springs. Plus, Gerard softball aiming to stay unbeaten against Pittsburgh. Jacob Leonard has that and more after this break.
The Colgan Panthers and Baxter Springs Lions meet tonight for an early season CNC showdown. The Panthers have played a brutal schedule to start the season, facing undefeated teams Gerard and Frontenac and bigger Missouri schools like Joplin and Neosho. Now, Colgan trying to get their first win against Baxter today, while the Lions aim for back-to-back wins for the first time this season. This was a pitcher's duel. First inning, Kyson Bennett gets the strikeout. Baxter Springs strands 2 in the inning. Other side, Cameron Williamson for the Lions. Nice curveball for the strikeout in the bottom half. To the second, Bennett, I got a curveball too. Freezes him for the strikeout. Moments later, Bennett outside corner. Kyson Bennett had himself a day. Strikes out 6 on the mound for Colgan and gets the walk-off hit in extra innings. Colgan gets win number 1, 3-2 in 8 innings. So in game 2, Colgan tries to make it a sweep. Look at this, another 1-run game. It's the Panthers doing it again, 7-6. Gus Keller collects 3 RBIs for Colgan. On the Missouri side, Webb City at home against Carthage. Cards try to snap a 4-game losing streak tonight. It was all Webb City today. They win at 11-1 for their first COC win of the year. Eric Fitch collects 4 hits and 3 RBIs on the day for the Cardinals. To softball now, the Gerard Trojans host the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons tonight. And Gerard has been on fire to start the season. They are 6-0 coming into the night, including 2-0 in the CNC. And the second inning, big swing here for the Trojans. It's Sam Bruchin up and out to center. Gerard out to the early lead with that solo shot. To the seventh, Emmeline Senecat up, pops it up. Infield fly. She's out anyways, but miscommunication or something. Ball gets down. Runners advance to second and third. So Leah McGowan here. Chance for some insurance. She shoots it back up the middle. McGowan brings both runners home. And that's it. Gerard shuts out Pittsburgh 3-0 to move to 7-0 on the season. In the SEK, big one today with Fort Scott hosting Chanute. Both teams enter the day 2-0 in the league. Tonight it's Fort Scott rolling by the Comets 15-5. Allie Brown drives in 4. The Tigers are now 3-0 in the SEK. The Kansas City Royals finish up their first series of the season this afternoon against the Cleveland Guardians. The Royals have won 2 out of the first 3 in the 4-game series. Kansas City aims for the series win before heading to the other side of the state for 2 against the Cardinals. Salvador Perez, his first hit of the season there. Bobby Witt Jr. scores. At that point, the Royals are down just 1. To the 4th now, Oscar Mercado takes this one up and out. His second of the season. Cleveland goes up 4-1. Now, the Royals would tie it back up, but here Cleveland up 1. Stephen Kwan puts it in the corner with the bases loaded. Brings all 3 runners home and gives Cleveland a little breathing room. It's a 4-game split. Guardians take the finale against the Royals 10-7. St. Louis Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado is the National League Player of the Week. In the team's first 3 games against the Pirates, Arenado went 6 for 12 with 2 home runs and 3 doubles. Drove in 7 runs in those 3 games to lead the National League in that category. The Cardinals are right back in action tomorrow night, hosting the Royals at 6:45. And that's it for sports. We're back with more news after this.
You may want to start your Easter egg hunt early in the grocery store aisles, that is. The cost of eggs continues to take wing, rising higher from inflation and overseas war. Now a bird flu outbreak. Kate Smith reports.
Uptown Bar and Grill in Waverly, Minnesota cracks open 400 eggs a week, and prices are sizzling.
It's not just the eggs, but the eggs were extreme. It went from 8 cents an egg to 26 cents an egg.
Trade analysts say wholesale prices in March climbed to $3.01 a dozen. And ahead of the Easter holiday, many shoppers are seeing an uptick too. According to the USDA, the current average price for a dozen grade A white eggs is $1.66, up from $1.08 this time last year.
What are some of the factors that are causing egg prices to go up? Certainly inflation is a part of the overall picture. Feed costs are up, as you know. Primarily, I would say the bird flu is probably the biggest influence in the recent price spike that we've seen.
An avian influenza outbreak has forced farmers to cull millions of chickens and turkeys. The USDA has confirmed cases of avian influenza in at least 26 states, impacting everything from farms to food banks.
We got an email from our supplier that they were no longer able to supply us with those eggs.
The owners of Uptown Bar and Grill hatched a plan to keep costs down, now sourcing their eggs from farmers in the community.
Anything we can do to help support the community and in turn...
Because they help support us.
Yeah, because they help support us.
Industry experts are watching the next few weeks to see if warmer weather may help slow or stop the spread of bird flu and coax egg prices back down. Kate Smith, CBS News, New York.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture has identified avian influenza in a commercial turkey flock in McPherson County in the central part of the state. For now, the American Egg Board says about 4% of American hens have been impacted by the bird flu. Despite that, the trade group says they're not expecting any egg shortages, especially for the upcoming Easter holiday. Good news, right? Some new movies available to watch at home. And check them all out coming up. Netflix users have another way to express themselves and rate content. The streamer unveiling double thumbs up, an additional way for members to describe the kinds of series and films they want to see more of. Going forward, people can find the option next to the single thumbs up and single thumbs down buttons on their TV, web, Android, and iOS mobile devices. The goal is to make it easier to find content you want to see. Netflix reps say a thumbs up lets them know what you liked, okay, just liked. I think it's pretty cool. So Netflix uses their response to make similar recommendations, but a double thumbs up tells Netflix what you love and helps them get even more specific with your recommendations. DVD, digital, and music releases this week include a friendly neighborhood hero, a radio journalist, an EDM supergroup, and more. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin with a list of new releases.
Hello, Peter.
A popular web slinger swings to the top of what's new in home entertainment.
You're flying out into the darkness.
The record-breaking global hit Spider-Man No Way Home is now available to own on DVD. Tom Holland returns as Peter Parker, who turns to Doctor Strange for help to restore his secret. But the encounter turns the world upside down and forces him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man.
There will be so much for you to learn.
Joaquin Phoenix plays a radio journalist forced to bond with his nephew while on a cross-country assignment in the black and white family drama Come On, Come On.
Kimmy, I'm here.
Zoe Kravitz stars as an agoraphobic tech worker who discovers the recording of a murder in the sci-fi thriller Kimmy.
Do you trust me?
Why should I trust you?
The mystery thriller Last Looks features Charlie Hunnam as a former police detective living off the grid, but his quiet life comes to an end when he's recruited to investigate a murder.
Your brains are on top of the world.
From the small screen, Season 5 of the Hallmark Channel's family drama Chesapeake Shores. Also, Season 1 of the Sci-Fi and USA Network series Chucky, based on the Child's Play franchise. For music fans, EDM supergroup Swedish House Mafia released their debut album Paradise Again. It features collaborative tracks Red Light with Sting and Moth to a Flame with The Weeknd, who will be co-headlining the Coachella Music Festival in California with the trio on April 17th and April 24th. In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Going to leave you with pets and their owners on this National Pet Day. Yeah, look at that tummy scratch right there. Hey, have a great, safe rest of the evening. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.